others. Finances, time and scheduling, relationships, they all involve choices. And it comes down to what you believe is important. What is more important to you in the time that God has given you? What is more important to you with the money and blessing that God has given you? What is more important? Who is more important to you in the life that we have? That God has placed around you in fellowship and family. When you make a choice, by definition, you don't choose other things. So I'm challenging us today, and myself today, is that our culture is saturated with distractions. Online, on TV, at various groups and gatherings at work, within our house, within the church. You can be distracted and entertained until you die. But we're called to be different. We're called to be a people set aside that has a purpose, that has a plan. Do you know what that purpose is? Do you know what that plan is? Or are we too caught up in being distracted by things that don't really matter? We live a life of complexity because mostly, not always, but mostly, we choose it ourselves. Because others are doing it, or because we think it's important to do, when in reality, perhaps it's not that much important. Don't let life live you. Don't let time manage you. Don't let yourself please yourself, others, as opposed to pleasing God. It's a choice. And we're called to be different. We're called to be examples. And it's not easy. There's a verse in the book of James. Very short, actually. It's a half a verse. James chapter 4, verse 8. It says, "Come near to God, and what? He will come near to you." Come near to God, and He will come near to you. Think about that verse. That's powerful. And think about how would you respond if God were near you. If you have no plan for finances, get one. If you have no budget, get one. Ask me, I can point you into some right directions for that. For people who can help you. Same with time. Manage your time. Prioritize. Have a game plan. Know what your values are. And how you want to live your life and spend your money while you have the time here on earth. And lastly, exercise self-control. I'm sure that Arnold Schwarzenegger did not get, back in his heyday, all those muscles by not exercising. Right? Going to the gym, pumping iron, is hard work. It hurts. It's sore. You get sore. And it's a lot of effort. It doesn't happen by itself. We're called to exercise self-control as well. It just doesn't happen. But just because we have the ability, have the time, have the means, does not mean we ought to do something. Self-denial is a lost art form in this society. And Christ taught that self-denial will help you be more like Him. Here's your challenge. Go home today. Don't put it off. Write down your time schedule. Add it up. Write down your money, how you spend your money. Categorize it. That tells you where your priorities are. Then ask God, Lord, what should I do? And help. There are things in this life that are beyond our control. I understand that. I lived through it too. But those things that we can control, let us control with God's guidance and wisdom. So our lives, at least for how we can manage it, don't get so complex. Oftentimes we hurt ourselves. We are our own worst enemy. Don't let life live you. Live your life to please God. Let's pray. Father, you, for some reason, chose to enter our domain, this world, our home, some 2,000 years ago. And you chose to get your hands dirty. You chose to enter into a messed up world. You chose to love us in spite of the fact that we chose to not love you. And so much like Adam and Eve in the garden, when they chose to disobey and follow their own path, Lord, we do that ourselves, to our chagrin and to our dismay. And we find ourselves having to live with the consequences. There are not always clear-cut answers. But you promise to be with us. Lord, with what is in our power and grasp to do, help us to do so our lives can be simple lives. So with our time, our money, with our relationships, we can focus on the things that are eternal and not be distracted. May we live our lives with dignity, honor, love, faithfulness in serving you and serving each other. May we not ask for your blessing without demanding us ourselves